ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Tuesday. I hope that you guys had a good Monday and that you had a good weekend as well. And let's kick off the live stream by giving a shout out to you guys in the live chat room. I can see you in there. We have Rose, Sue, Billy, Bob, Johnny, Daisy, Paul, Ro, Billy, Sue, Howard, Alison, Lisa. Oh, Pink Thistle has gone through there as well. And it's moving too quickly for me to keep up, but I'll just pick out some names at random. We've got Mary in there as well, and Barbara, and Cardboard Jace, is that? I was going to say Jesse, but maybe it was Jace. Let me quickly skip this advert. So, hello, thank you for joining me on this Tuesday night. Now, quick weather report for the UK. It's starting to, well, I say starting to get hot again. It's been really hot recently over the last probably 3 or 4 weeks. It seems like it's been going on forever, but probably 3 or 4 weeks it's been really hot here in the UK. And we've had maybe 2 days that have been around maybe 20 or 22. And now things are going to be heating up again. So tonight I do have the air conditioner turned up to 11, so things are, at least okay in this room, but things will be getting hotter in the future. I mean, it is crazy, but I guess this is to be expected with the whole global warming thing. I can't remember it being this hot. And it is hot, it's not just warm, it's hot. So this hot for this long before, it must have happened at some point in the past. But yeah, just absolutely a crazy hot for a crazy amount of time. But anyway, let me get the names of my patrons up on screen, because they make this all possible in the first place. Thank you guys, you know who you are. I always say that they're the foundation of everything that I do, and they allow these live streams to happen and all of the videos that I make on the channel to happen as well. So we will get the likes goal up on screen as well to see what we are aiming for tonight. It is 420. That's what we are going for. So if you could leave a thumbs up as you come through the door, that would be very much appreciated. And if we do hit the target for tonight, we're going to be having Phil Jam number 248. So yeah, we are getting through the Phil Jams, almost at 250. So yeah, hit that thumbs up, that would be very much appreciated. And let's get the likeometer up on screen as well to see where we are at so far. And we are at 190, so closing in on 200. So that means we're looking for 230, and it's just skipped forwards by 6. So that'd be 224, is it? And if we, that would be now 223. So anyway, let's leave that, because I believe that is relatively accurate in terms of the maths. We will, keep on pushing forward. I can see somebody said about the hot weather and my hair. And this is what also happens, is that normally here in the UK, it is cold and it doesn't necessarily lend itself, the weather, to having big hair, because it is quite cold weather. Whereas as soon as things start to heat up, I think my hair starts to go more sideways rather than down, because the volume just builds up. Especially, as you might notice in some of the videos from quite a while back, when I'm performing, like on the live stream that I did, my hair was absolutely mental at that point in terms of the volume that it was being produced, because it was in a really hot room, and I was obviously really hot in the room. I was wearing a leather jacket as well. So yeah, this is it. Some of the performance pictures and videos, you can tell actually when it's really hot, because it's always like my hair has its own level, so you can see exactly how hot it is. But now at the moment, everything is okay. It's not too bad. It is a lot warmer than normal, but like I said, air conditioning up to 11. So that should keep things under control. Anyway, let's finally get the donations tab up on screen, because you don't have to donate. Just watching is great. And introduce yourself into that live chat room, and that's how we get to know each other, and we'll get to know each other's usernames and profile pictures, all that kind of stuff, if you do indeed have a profile picture rather than just a big letter in a circle, as I can see some of those going through. But yeah, you don't have to donate, as I always say. But for those people that can't resist donating, I think it's important that they know between 45 and 60% goes to YouTube through the super chat window, and between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal through the PayPal link, which you can find in the description below. So let's now, I can see there have been donations already, so thank you guys for those. I will address those quickly because I can see that they are mounting up. And Paul has donated $5, so thank you for that, Paul. And the message is, we are at 491,000 subscribers now. Awesome sauce. Let's have fun tonight and spike the likes. All y'all rock. So thank you for that, Paul. And yes, indeed, we have now reached 491,000 subscribers. So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in, watching the videos, subscribing. And you'll have to hit the notification bell in order to get notified for all of the videos, but even then sometimes you won't get notified. So I do suggest that you head over to patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus in order to receive a notification and email for every time I make a new video. And I post on there as well the live streams. They are public once I've done them, and they're public all the time when they are live. Anybody can watch them, but then in case you missed one, you can check it out over on Patreon. But there we have it. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, we'll keep on pushing forward. 491,000 is quite a nice number. But yeah, we'll see where we end up with it all. I did say last night over on Patreon. Oh, and by the way, if you want the Patreon link, there it is. Patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus. But I said last night that it seems like for some reason, since the videos stopped getting, not promoted, but I just get, I guess just people stopped getting notified for the videos. But it meant that we kind of hit a brick wall for whatever reason. And I think the reason was because I was, pointing things out about particular artists that YouTube didn't like me pointing those particular things out. But yeah, as soon as I then made the video, it's almost like it just turned. As soon as I did a video on a very young band, and yeah, lots of stuff happened with that, and it got pushed out there really quickly. Hundreds of thousands of views over a few days, which is crazy. And it seems like that almost reset the algorithm, and it's now started telling people about my videos again. And I'm trying to think. I thought there might be some kind of correlation between the fact that that video wasn't on a band signed to a major label or anything like that, so YouTube maybe felt like it could push that video out there more than other bands and artists that I feature. And I don't know whether that's the case or not, but that's a theory that I have that could be the reason. But so we'll see what happens, because I'm just going to keep on doing what I do. And I think the last video that I made, which was on Ed Sheeran, that was on Sunday. Again, Ed Sheeran is a very well-known artist, and I was just pointing out what was going on actually with the post-produced sound, not actually the live sound, because as happens pretty much all the time now, live performances get edited before you actually get to see them on YouTube, unless it is crowd shot footage. And I mean, what I'm getting at the moment is like an avalanche of messages to check out Oasis, because they've got back together and are on tour at the moment, and people are sending me crowd shot footage of this night and then that night, and somebody else has got, you know, the whole show recorded from different angles and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, that's big news here in the UK. So I've had a lot of requests to do that, but I do have other analysis videos that I'm making, and ones that are on the list before that particular request. But if it gets to a point where there are so many requests that I just have to do a video quickly, then I will do. But I might cover that in the future if it doesn't get too crazy. But I know that it is big news here in the UK at the moment. So anyway, yeah, thank you for that, Paul. And Karen's donated $20. Thank you for that, Karen. And the message is, hi Phil, congrats on hitting 491,000 subscribers. My birthday is in 2 days, so let's have fun with this rethink question. What's the small thing that never fails to brighten your day? You do, Phil. Many thanks, Karen. So thank you for that. And a small thing that never fails to brighten my day, I don't know. Maybe seeing a funny video or something, I don't know. But there's never one thing that I kind of see and think, oh, that's really brightened my day. You know, there's a daily thing. So I don't know. I'll have to think about something, but I guess just waking up is always good. That's always a bonus, so I'll go with that. Waking up every day is a bonus. So not that I've got medical conditions or anything, but I think just in general to be happy for life and the opportunities that we have every day that we I think sometimes take for granted. So thank you for that, Karen. Orlando's donated $2 as well. Thank you for that, Orlando. The message is, hey Phil and everyone, hit that like button. So great idea. If you could hit that thumbs up, that would be great. We're up to 246 at the moment, and it means that we are closing in on a Phil Jam at the end of the live stream. Karen has donated $10, so thank you for that, Karen. And the message is, greetings from beautiful California, Phil. Your hair is getting longer and looks awesome. The facial hair is on point as well. So thank you for that. And the facial hair is always when I just haven't had time to shave. So there you go. That's what the facial hair is. It's not really designed in any particular way, even though somebody asked me quite entertainingly, which I might have mentioned before. They said, why do you shave these bits here and then you leave the rest of it? I don't. Everybody's facial hair grows in different ways, and some people can just grow a beard, and in fact I've seen some 16 or 17-year-old kids that have, is that classed as an adult? Not here in the UK, you have to be 18, so they are kids. Yeah, I've seen kids that have been able to grow a beard, and yeah, I mean, I don't think I would even still need to shave every day, you know. And I know at the age that I am, that's a bit ridiculous, but I think it's just because I'm not, you know, I've never had a lot of kind of facial hair or, you know, body hair. Because people say to me, like guys, they say, oh, I can't believe you shaved your chest, you know, for my That's Metal video. And it's not the case that I shave my chest. That's just how I look. I can't help it. And that's probably why, yeah, I can't really grow a beard, because some people are, yeah, very hairy. I'm not one of those people. Apart from maybe on my head, because some people, they might lose the hair on their head and then they grow a massive beard. But I wouldn't have that massive beard option. So, yeah. Anyway, back to it. It's just by default how busy I've been. Just haven't had time to do anything. So the hair, I think, is going to be cut relatively soon, because the hairdresser that I saw, and actually was for the first haircut that I had with this new hairdresser, they told me that I had to grow out the layers on the top in order then to be able to do the style properly. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I think the haircut is on the 18th maybe, so we are closing in maybe 10 days, I'm not sure. So anyway, thank you for that. Karen and Totoro Porcos donated $2.79. Thank you for that. The message is, I think it's time to make some more jam. So it is the weather for it, but also maybe that's a hint towards the Phil jam. Maybe we can have that at the end of the live stream. And Orlando's donated $5 as well. Thank you for that. The message is, great song to start with, very fitting with what is going on in the world. Thank you for that. And I think, unfortunately, it is always going to be relevant, and there are lots of songs that are about particular topics that are always going to be relevant because of what humans are like, unfortunately. But yeah, things have been so busy, I haven't really kept up with a lot of news and what's been going on in the world, especially recently. Sorting out my CD stocks and all of that kind of stuff has taken up a lot of my time. But thank you for that, Orlando. Sue has donated $19.99, and the message is, we need to celebrate when you hit 500,000 subscribers. Thank you for that, Sue. I'm not sure whether it's a done deal. I say maybe when or if I hit 500,000 subscribers, we will see. But thank you for that, Sue. Maltese has donated $19.99. Thank you for that. And there are a couple of donations here. The first one says, fabulous Phil, you're having a great run of good hair days. Lucky you. And then Maltese donated $9.99 as well. Thank you for that. The message is, I love the no facial hair look in your cover vids. You looked great with no face hair. Keep shaving. And this is the problem, that everybody has different opinions of different things. So my facial hair will always be whatever it is, according to how busy I've been or what I've had time to do. But what I will say is, back in my maybe mid-20s, I did used to shave with a razor, and that meant that I think the problem was it made me look about 12. So I started growing a little bit of facial hair just to make myself I don't know, look a little bit more rock and roll rather than how I looked previously. So that was just my own personal choice. But anyway, Karen has just jumped in with a $5 donation saying, it was great to see Ozzy, so happy to be able to sing one last time. He did well. So thank you for that. Now, on this particular subject, I have received a lot of emails today and yesterday on this particular topic of Ozzy singing and the various videos that have come out that are showing him singing. And in every email that I've got or received, every link that I've been sent has since been removed from YouTube. So, and some of these videos were people saying about how the vocal performance wasn't as it's being portrayed, or maybe the official release and whatever it might be. I haven't actually seen any of the videos because all I've done is check out the email, click on the link, and then it's been removed, so I can't see this person's. And I guess what it's going to be is the crowd shot footage of a particular song, and that's then been removed by, I can't remember who it is, it might be UMG or something. But I'm not surprised at the fact that videos are removed or being removed and disappearing, because certainly Sharon keeps a very tight ship and keeps everything, how can I say this? She likes to keep everything under control and not out of, out of control of her own kind of, circle of control. So everything is really, really carefully policed across the internet. So it means that if there were, for example, a particular video, and this is actually one of the emails that I got said that the vocal was quite out a lot of the time, even as far as 2 semitones, which is going to give it a very dramatic sound in terms of being 2 notes off where the note should have been. But then the same performance, when compared to an official release, it was now in tune. So it means that the vocal has been moved a whole tone from where it was live. But again, this is all rumor and conjecture, and I don't think somebody would go to the problem or the trouble of linking me to videos and explaining what was happening and asking me to analyze them and then removing the video themselves. It's just be a totally pointless exercise. So yeah, I mean, I will still, if people want me to take a look at something, then if there is a video that exists, then you can send that to me. The interesting thing is that if somebody were to send me a video and it was a genuinely live performance and the video was maybe crowd shot by them, they could send me that video, and then if their video gets deleted but I make an analysis video on what they've sent me, my video is covered by fair use. So it doesn't matter if that can't be removed. As you guys will know, on my channel with some of the artists that I've looked at, they can't remove my video of their performance because it is fair use. So even though they can say, oh, but he's showing our song or our songs and our live performances, it's covered by fair use. So it means that they will stay on my channel. So anyway, when the videos are getting released, if people can act quickly enough and send me them, if there is genuinely something you really want me to take a look at, then send it through quickly. I guess what you'd have to do, if it is crowd shot footage, you would have to upload it, send it to me pretty much as soon as you've done that, and then I can take that footage myself. The only problem is that I'm not always checking new emails because I'm doing other things, so it's just as soon as I can get to my inbox in order to see the video. But unfortunately, even just a few hours after they've uploaded something to their channel, it's then been removed. So yeah, a bit of a shame. And it is interesting that we're getting so many contrasting views of actually what was going on, and some people saying that he sounded great and some people saying that it was 2 semitones off. So you think, well, yeah, there's definitely a rabbit hole here somewhere. And I don't know, I think given the history of what we looked at on the channel, I think it's probably going to be the case that anything official has been edited, because it is an industry standard to do that anyway, even with young artists. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. But we will see, yeah, if anything comes through in the future. If somebody requests a video or two that are still available online, then I'll take a look at them. So anyway, thank you for that. And Karen has donated $5 again, so thank you for that, Karen. And the message is, hi Phil, a bit of fun. From which would you choose? You can hear colours or you can taste colours, and why? Thanks for my pre-birthday smiles, Karen. So thank you for that. And again, I don't really know what to say. I can hear colours. Maybe that's going to be the choice, because I don't know why I'd be able to taste colours. As to why, there's no reasoning behind it. I've just picked one of those. So thank you for that. Right. Now we are up to date there. I am just going to pop into the PayPal window because we've had a donation that's come through. It is Sue who has donated £20. So thank you for that, Sue. And the message is, oof. That's OOOOOF. This donation apparently got hung up in cyberspace during the Saturday night live stream. Oh, no need to read this out. Just wanted to make sure it hits your account. So thank you for that. And I read it out anyway. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what's... Maybe, I think sometimes there's a delay on PayPal and things either go through or they don't go through. And yeah, I'm not sure how it all works. But thank you, Sue, for that. And if the other one does go through accidentally, then just let me know and we can sort it out. And Tammy has donated £10 as well. So thank you for that, Tammy. And the message is, hi Phil, congratulations on hitting 491,000 subscribers. Your achievement is a testament to your passion, talent and hard work. Keep up the excellent work. Love and rock. So thank you for that. And we are up to date in the PayPal window. So what was I mentioning earlier? Oh, about the Ed Sheeran analysis, the latest one. That's actually a good example of something where you've got an official release and then something that's been filmed at the performance, during the performance, where you will literally hear a different live vocal, because on that official release the vocal was quite heavily manipulated from a pitch standpoint, and one of the notes was absolutely crazy, being so stuck on A440 standard pitch equal temperament. But this is something that we, I guess, are getting used to now, that when you see a live performance, or you think it's a live performance, it doesn't really turn out to be a live performance, or the live performance has been edited and we're not really hearing what was happening. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, but yeah, it would be interesting to take a look at the different pieces of footage that has Ozzy's vocal performance on there. But then again, I think when you're talking about somebody like Ozzy Osbourne, for me, it's the final kind of not parade, but the final part of his career and his final vocal performance, all these different things. And you could argue from that sentimental point of view from fans that they might say, well, we don't want to have a vocal performance that is, 2 semitones off, and then that's the last performance that he ever does. They might want it to sound more accurate, even though it wasn't accurate. But then you've got, and this is the thing, there are always two sides to the coin, because people will say, but if it turns out that the vocals were a couple of semitones off, then people would say, well, why do a last performance, or why do a performance if physically you can't sing anymore, or you can't hit the notes anymore? But then the easy answer to that is because people a quarter of my age are doing the same thing, that they're performing live, it's then being edited, and everyone sees something on the internet that didn't actually happen. So yeah, there's so many sides to it, and it's all subjective anyway, but it would be interesting to, like I said, get a little bit of that footage to see whether some people are just mistaken with what they're hearing, or whether there has been a lot of editing going on. So I can see that there have been a couple of donations over on PayPal again, so thank you for these. And it's Tracy who just jumped in with a donation of £7.03, and Tracy says, welcome back, Anna. We missed you your pom-poms. So thank you for that, Tracy. And Orlando's donated £10 as well. Thank you for that, Orlando. And the message is, when a founding member of a band leaves, whatever the reason, what becomes of his ownership or stake in the band? Does it depend on signed agreements or contracts? Does he forfeit his ownership? So thank you for that. And I mean, it's always going to come down to contracts, because that's how laws work. That's how everything is judged. So it means that if there's a founding member of a band, and if they are the sole founding member, they started it and they did everything, they got it off the ground, and they might have even written the songs, they might sing the songs, but if somebody else owns the songs, then that person that owns the songs will always get the royalties and the money for it. It's all about who owns them. You can write a song, but that doesn't mean you automatically own it, and that's how record labels work. At the end of the day, it's they are taking everything from the musician. The musician is an entity and something that is going to produce material that they can copyright themselves and get paid for. So every time the artist goes out and performs it, the record label earn money. So it's just like the artist is out there making money for the record label all the time and never actually making any money for themselves. So yeah, when a founding member leaves the band, and again, it doesn't even matter about when somebody leaves the band, you know, what the reasons were and what they're entitled to and what the other band members are entitled to as well. It's all down to the agreements that they have. And with another question that we had recently where somebody asked about people who are in a band and who owns what, and then maybe one person from the band goes off and does a side project or another project where they might use the band name. And this is another thing, that using the band name, if it is registered, like as in like a registered trademark, or having a particular logo that's being used, if you start using that and you don't have permission, again, that's something that bands have gone to court for in the past, because somebody's used the logo when they weren't allowed to, or maybe two members went off and did a show and they used the band name and they weren't allowed to, so they have to change the band name ever so slightly to then be allowed to perform. So yeah, there are so many parts to it, and legalities of performing, being in a band, and then when things split, that's where it all gets complicated. But I'd say the most complicated part, and the reason for bands splitting, is always over song ownership, because somebody will say, "Oh, I wrote this song," and then the drummer might say, "Oh, but I played that fill, and that fill is what everyone sings," or not sings, but that's the part that everyone remembers from that song. Or a guitar solo, and the lead guitarist says, "I did the solo, I created the solo, that melody is mine, and everybody knows the solo in the song, so I should be getting royalties for it." But the person that owns the royalties, if they say no, then there's nothing that you can do. And of course, as you can imagine, that's how bands break up. And just to cite the example that I did a second ago with Sharon Osbourne, she just knows the industry and she knows how it works. She knows about contracts. So in that particular case, it meant that Ozzy and the musicians that he was working with, they weren't getting any of the royalties for the songs. And I can't remember exactly which album it was, and it's going to annoy me, but for the whole album it said songs written by, and this is obviously who owns the songs, written by Ozzy Osbourne, and that he was the sole songwriter. And for the songs, you think, well, and certainly I think as a musician, you think, well, there's no way that Ozzy is writing that guitar solo that was played, and there's no way that he would be saying to the guitarist, "Oh, play this note and then that note and then that note, and then do a sweep picked arpeggio at that point, and then do a hammer on and pull off here, do a bend, add vibrato." He's not saying any of that. So a lot of the melodic content of the song hasn't actually been written by Ozzy. But again, this is going back to Sharon understanding how things work. She knows, and she knew, and she knows now. If you can get one name as the songwriter, and everyone else is, and this is the other problem, everyone else was oblivious. They didn't understand how it worked. So it meant that there were a lot of musicians who added a hell of a lot to the songs, arguably a hell of a lot of melodic elements to the songs, riffs that people sing back, and the song might even be known for the riff. That has now gone down as written by Ozzy Osbourne, and that's it. And that's the end of it. So it means that all of the royalties for that song, no matter how it's known and what people know from that song, will go to Sharon Osbourne. The management and the royalties are all funneled down that way. So they're funneled just in the direction of the management and the publishing company, which definitely would have been something that Sharon would have set up, an independent publishing company, so that everything got funneled into that company, and all of the other musicians' inputs or input for songs is now not given credit for. It's all now solely written by Ozzy Osbourne. And I'm sure that he did, have a lot of input with the vocal melodies and, how he wanted the songs to be. But I just can't see him sitting down and telling the great guitarists that he worked with what to play. Because as a guitarist myself, that just doesn't happen, where the singer comes over and says, right, for this, first of all, they won't be able to demonstrate what they want you to play because they don't play the guitar. So how could they possibly do that? They could try and sing it, but how do you sing, maybe 10 to 15 notes a second? If it's something a little bit more technical, it's impossible to do. So, yeah. But anyway, back to the point that it's all about publishing, and back to the point of bands, and when they split up, it's all down to whose name is on that dotted line when it comes to what members are allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do, and the person whose name is on that dotted line will decide exactly what everyone else is allowed to do or not allowed to do. But anyway, thank you for that, Orlando. And Leslie has donated £20 as well. Thank you for that, Leslie. And the message is Janine from Spinal Tap is the perfect hairdo for you. Better than Nigel Tufnell. So thank you for that. And yeah, I haven't really been keeping up with the news, but apparently there's a Spinal Tap sequel that's either happening. Has it happened? I don't know. But that'd be interesting. The problem always is going to be the first movie being what it is and being such a cult classic. Then, how do you do a sequel to that particular movie? Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what they do, but hopefully, yeah, it will be good. But I never got a call to play any part in it, so there you go. Even though I would take minimal time in makeup and doing the hair and the wigs and everything that they use. So anyway, yeah, thank you for that, Leslie. Now, there have been a few more donations in the super chat window, so thank you for these. And Orlando's donated $5 again. Says Ozzy's last hurrah. I'm happy he is retiring on his own terms. So thank you for that. Susie Q says it's in the works and all of the original band are in the cast. So thank you for that. That must be Spinal Tap, the sequel. Yeah, it's always good where you have a sequel and it's, obviously it's taken quite a while to get to this particular sequel, but when you do have all of the same people in it, always helps. And I feel like whenever a sequel is made and there may be one or two really important characters who aren't there, and then they say, oh, well, they were filming another movie at the time, so they couldn't be in this one. I would always think, well, especially if it's a sequel to a really popular film, to just wait for the actors to become available and then say, right, we'll do it at this particular time where there's a window so that we can, make it as authentically as possible in relation to the first movie. But anyway, Karen has donated $5 as well. Thank you for that. The message is David Gilmour et al. Were able to continue as Pink Floyd even after Roger tried to stop them. So thank you for that. Yeah, this is the problem, is that, yeah, sometimes it will go to court. When somebody definitely doesn't want the rest of the band to continue to play, then, yeah, the courts will decide. And, it is what it is. Sometimes things can become, what I would say is a little bit petty, with particular members of bands wanting just the other members of the bands not to gig or not to do anything, and basically not to earn any money for themselves based on what they used to do together. So yeah, it's all a bit of a shame, but like I said, it's, you know, it all gets a bit messy when we're talking about royalties and using band names, when, you know, band members can argue about who should be able to use what. Anyway, Kevin has donated $5 as well. Thank you for that, Kevin. And the message is: dropping a semitone or two discussed by Phil is natural as you age. I'm just glad they are still capable of performing and not miming. So thank you for that. And I mean, what I was describing was not dropping songs a semitone or a tone. It was that the song's pitch was, yeah, it might be detuned, it might be dropped by a semitone or a tone, but then the vocal was, what this person said, a tone lower than the pitch. So that's where the vocal was being maintained. So it wasn't that they were transposing anything. No matter where that pitch is of the song, the vocal was a couple of semitones too low. So this is why when they heard it, they then were very surprised to hear the official release that's now been, you know, the vocals now been moved up to where the instrumentation was. So anyway, but like I said, this is all conjecture and things that I haven't seen, because the videos that I got linked to have been removed from YouTube. So thank you for that, Kevin. But of course, as you do age, and especially when we're talking about, you know, Ozzy Osbourne, but yet singers that are very far on in their careers, it is natural to lose a bit of range at the top, and that's why the tracks will be brought down a little bit, semitone or tone. And for me, it doesn't really matter at all, as long as you're able to perform the song well. It doesn't really matter that it is being taken down, because more often than not, with the singer's voice, because their top note is now a tone lower than it used to be, when you bring down the song by a tone, when they hit their high note, it's still going to sound like their high note, because it is. So you're still going to get, you know, the same from the song. And people don't know keys. Like, when people go to watch a show, if the band were to stop and ask the audience, you know, what key are we playing in, they wouldn't have a clue. I mean, only maybe musicians and super fans would be able to tell, but then even still, you need to have an ear that can tell when something's a semitone or a tone lower than the original recording. And even with original recordings, like, they were sometimes sped up, so they weren't even played in that key anyway, where it might be a semitone higher, where they've sped up the tape and then released that, and then when you hear it live, it's a semitone lower because it was never performed at that faster speed. When I say faster speed, I mean when you speed up the tape, the pitch gets higher, and that's generally what they did, especially actually with songs that were featured on movies, where the original song didn't quite have enough energy to it, and in the movie scene they might need a bit more energy for what's going on, so they then speed it up just for the movie. So then when you hear it outside of the movie, you think, oh, this is a lot slower and lower than I thought it was. But what you don't realize is that in the movie they've changed it to suit the film, rather than keep it strictly, you know, authentic to the original release. But anyway, yeah, thank you for that, Kevin. It's actually something that I would like to see covered more in, you know, vocal coach courses and, you know, singing courses in general online. A lot of it tends to focus on, you know, belting, hitting high notes, chest voice, head voice, mixed voice, all these different things. But that's all really, I would say, catering for the audience that are maybe younger and they haven't been singing their whole lives, and even somebody who might be older and wanting to learn to sing. I think that there should be a section that is for, I don't know, the the awareness of knowing what might happen to your voice and how to deal with these things, and transposing and what you should be doing, and how to know now where your new high note is and how to navigate your way around a song, given that you might have lost a little bit of range as you age. So it's something that I haven't seen, actually. I mean, I'm sure it exists somewhere, but I haven't seen any of those types of videos online. I mean, sadly, the only thing that seems to happen is that in the particular vocal coach that I featured probably about a year ago now, it's just denial that this stuff happens. That, oh no, you should be able to still hit the same notes in exactly the same way when, back in, what was it, 1983 or 1985 or whenever it was, you should be able to hit the notes in exactly the same way, because I can do it. And then it turns out that, well, no, that was actually the recording from the 1980s. So really, really important, I think, for people to get an appreciation of that. Just have a segment in the course. And yeah, I'm surprised that vocal coaches don't put that in there. But also about performing when you might not be at your best, and say what you have to do in order to navigate your way around a particular performance. And that's why it's really interesting chatting with singers like Jeff Scott Soto about his voice and where it used to sit and now where it sits, and how he navigates his way around particular songs differently because of how his voice has changed. But he's still out there and doing it, and doing great vocal performances. He's still got that longevity, but he knows how to manage his own voice. And that's the kind of thing that I think would be great in a singing course for maybe people that do sing, and just how to use their instrument to the best of their ability, knowing that it will change over time. Of course, there are, like Jeff said, there are some singers who have that ability to just keep their voice where it was, but because of their technique being so perfect to begin with, and generally they will be singing quite quietly using perfect airflow, and aren't going to be belting at the top end of their chest voice with poor technique. They're probably going to be making a sound like they're belting but using mixed voice, and it's actually quite a quiet sound, and that means that they can still hit those notes so many years after they've done a song where they are hitting notes in the male tenor range, even countertenor range. So there are the few that can do it, but that's it's all part of managing your voice as an instrument, getting used to it, and adapting with it as it might change as you age. But anyway, we are just going to jump into the PayPal window, and I want to make sure that I don't miss any here. And it is Leslie who donated again £20, so thank you for that. And the message is, when will your assistant be able to step in? Soon, I hope. So thank you for that. And most likely, I mean, there's still kind of a lot to learn, because I do a lot of stuff, and I've gained a lot of knowledge about very bespoke things that I do with editing and videos. So I'm trying to offload as much as I can, but it'll probably still take a few weeks for things to, or at least for the process to start up and get used to it, and it's just trial and error really over the next kind of few weeks and months. But thank you for that, Leslie. And Leslie, now with an IE and not a Y, has donated £10, so thank you for that. And the message is Authentic Vocal Project, so thank you for that. And yes, my Authentic Vocal Project is something that I set up a few months ago, and at the moment I'm just kind of working between the two. Obviously everything that I do here is taking up a lot of time, especially with my CD and sorting all that stuff out. But with Authentic Vocal, that features fully live vocal performances, so you can head over there if you want to check those out. And over the next kind of, I don't know, few months, I'll be able to spend a little bit more time on that, and upload a few more performances so that we can have that database of just truly authentic vocals and live performances to enjoy. But anyway, thank you for that, Leslie. And Angela has donated £10.55, so thank you for that. And the message is, hi Phil, speaking of Jeff Scott Soto, what has become of the rest of your interview / conversation with him? Only saw 2 parts. Thanks, Angela. So thank you for that. And well, nothing's become of it really, because I was just cutting up as much as I could and can, because it takes time to edit that all together, because we spoke for about, it's either 2.5 hours or 3 hours, I can't remember, but it's a lot of editing. So it means that I managed to cut up 2 parts of the video, and that's as far as I got. And then obviously I'm doing other analysis requests as well, so I'm making sure that I'm getting through the requests, rather than, I think it's better just to kind of drop one in and to have an interview video now and again, and then get back to the analysis videos, rather than having the interview videos one after the next, after the next, after the next, after the next, because there will be, especially with Jeff, there will be a lot of them, because we were talking for a very long time. But that's just how I'm approaching it at the moment, and I think that's just as far as I got, just to upload 2. I'm trying to remember whether it was 2 or whether I did more of them, or whether I've edited more of them and I haven't uploaded them yet. I'm not sure. It's just, my schedule and the videos that I'm doing is all a bit of a mess, trying to remember what I've done from a few weeks ago versus like what I'm doing at the moment and what I'm editing together. So anyway, thank you for that, Angela. Right. There has been another few donations, and it's almost midnight, so we're going to have to jump into the cover video. At the moment, it says 50% hero, and it's just changed to Broken Wings, so this is close. If you haven't voted for the cover video tonight, then make sure you do, because it could sway the vote either way. So I will just address the donations that have happened, and for reference, we've got 375 likes in the bank at the moment, and we are aiming for 420, so it's still a bit of a ways to go. 44 more people required to bust out the guitar and have a jam at the end of the live stream. So if you could hit that thumbs up, that would be very much appreciated. Back in to the super chat window. Stardust has donated $1.99. It says vibes, so thank you for that. And Blade of Zorro has donated £5 and says, hi Phil, have you thought about having AV logo on official merch, for instance, like a patch? All the best, Blade of Zorro Rock. So thank you for that. And I have thought about merchandise, like authentic vocal merch, which I am going to get to, definitely. But I'm still doing the Wings of Pegasus merch. I'm changing over from where, was it? I'm now getting confused as to where it will be. Oh, Spring were the company that did my merch before, and I'm in the process of swapping over to another company, but yeah, because I've been so busy, I haven't managed to do that yet. But that will be happening, and once that's happened, then I'll be able to hopefully do the same for Authentic Vocal, so that we can start, getting t-shirts and hoodies with the logo on. So then at least people might say, "Oh, what's that on your t-shirt? What's that logo?" And then we can say it's something that features live vocals that aren't edited, so genuine singing voices. So yeah, that'll be good to get that out there. So that is my plan for the future, but I just haven't got there yet. Thank you for that. Mortiz has donated $4.99. Has donated, couldn't think of a question, just couldn't resist donating, with a laughing face. Thank you for that. And Kyrie Eleison has donated $2 as well, and thank you for that messages. Any more thoughts on live lead guitar tutorials? So no more thought at the moment, other than I think that from what people are saying, there is a bit of a demand for just going through maybe concepts of lead playing. But I think what I'll do is, I like the idea of being able to take what I do in the live streams, cut them up, and for that to make up eventually a course, so that it is organized and you go from one stage to the next stage to the next stage to the next stage. And obviously that'll take a little bit of planning, but yeah, that's my idea that I've got. I mean, the only problem might be, it might be the case that when I'm doing the instructional videos, or video in a live stream, that we don't have all of this stuff on screen, because if it's then going to be an instructional video in the future, then it'll be like having Spike the Likes and likeometer and donation. You don't have to donate and it's live stream time and all that stuff. It might not look very professional. So yeah, it might just have to be me on screen. So yeah, it might be the case that when I do that, I'll change the title of the live stream so that people know that maybe for the first... How would we start the live stream? Would we start with a song or not? We might just go straight into it, into the guitar. So I could kind of introduce it and say what it's all about. So we will see, but I think I'm just going to have to organize it a little bit so that I don't, do it all in a random order. It's got to be organized so that I can hopefully do it in the future as a bit of a course. So Maltese has donated $9.99. Again, thank you for that. The message is, are you still exercising to keep fit? And in short, no, I'm not doing any exercise other than making sure that I'm kind of resting and allowing my arm to recover. And I'll be, once my arm is kind of okay, back at the same point, I'll get back into the rehab. And the problem that I've got is, well, first of all, kind of going out and running. If I'm going out for a run takes time, and it's just the time that I don't have at the moment. But I will probably start with the exercise relatively soon, maybe within a month or 2 or 3 or 4. But yeah, it's just having the time to do it. At the moment, I'm just keeping everything as calm as possible, because the worst thing is to suddenly start exercising and do a movement and to aggravate my tendon and ligament in my right arm, which means that it will then set me back, and then I've got to wait again for like kind of 3, 4, 5 weeks, and then get back to rehab and all that stuff. So I'm just taking it easy, but I'm hoping that maybe this year or beginning of next year that I can get back to doing proper exercise and the resistance training that I used to do. And I think the problem is that the resistance training is something that is just going to take a bit of time to get back and actually get back into, because of the nature of lifting heavy weights. It's something that tendons and ligaments, if they're damaged, they don't particularly like doing that. But anyway, we are going to be jumping into, it says Broken Wings has 50% of the vote. And it is Broken Wings that we're going to be taking a listen to. Obviously, my version of the Mr. classic. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you after. Rock!
Don't understand why we can't just hold on to each other's hands. This time may be the last, I fear, unless I make it all too clear. I need you so. that you're half of the flesh, blood that makes me whole. I need you so take these broken wings and learn fly again, learn to live so free. When we hear the voices sing, the book of love will open up and let us sing, yeah, yeah. Let us it's all I know, that you're half of the flesh and blood that makes me whole. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. So take these broken wings and learn to fly again, learn to live so free. And when we hear the voices sing, the book of love will open up and let us in. Take these broken wings. You got to learn to fly, learn to live and love so free. When we hear the voices sing, the book of love will open up for us and let us sing. Yeah, yeah.
And there we have it. That was my version of Broken Wings. And I've just noticed that tonight's Phil Jam is 9 minutes and 46 seconds. So it means we're gonna, if we get started immediately, then okay, right, that's loaded up. That's fine. If we get started immediately, then we might not finish too late, but we will finish late. So right. Oh, and by the way, Malteser donated $4.99. Says, "Is Karen's birthday? Let's wish her all the best." So yes, a very happy birthday to Karen, whose birthday is in 2 days, if my memory serves me correctly. So everybody say a big happy birthday in that live chat room. Right. So jumping into this Phil Jam, we have now hit the target of 420. So thank you guys for hitting the thumbs up. This is 7/4 progressive metal backing track / guitar jam in D minor in brackets new theories, and this is from Pat Matrone from obviously the YouTube channel Pat Matrone. I'm going to press play on this, and okay, right, that's on. Let me know what the levels are like. Hopefully my guitar's in tune. We will find out. Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, mic not on. little bit high. Try and maybe turn my guitar up a little bit. We've got a lot of changes here. how long this has got left. Oh, still over 2 minutes. Waiting for this sudden ending. There it was. Oh, and there we have it. That was 7/4 progressive metal backing track / jam track in D minor. New theories in brackets from Pat Matroni. And there were a lot of changes in there. I mean, which is cool. But a lot of changes kind of to get your head around when they're repeating. And now just looking at the amount of chords that we've got going on: verse, break, G mixolydian, verse, break, G mixolydian, chorus, A minor, chorus, D, B, D minor scale, B flat sus2, loads of chords going on. You know, it's probably better not to even try and think about it when you're playing over the top of that kind of thing. But anyway, it was what it was. So you guys can check out that backing track independently if you want to, and it's just a case of kind of feeling your way around it and see what happens. But that's going to be it for tonight. Long jam track. Thank you guys for hitting the thumbs up and allowing me to bust out the guitar for tonight. And Eamon says needed more pitch correction. I mean, when we start pitch correcting guitars, that's where, I don't know where we'll be, but maybe that'll happen in the future. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I want to make sure I'm up to date with everything, which I am. I'm going to be here with another video tomorrow night, so look out for that. And I'll be live streaming on Saturday night, of course, 11 PM Greenwich Mean Time. If you can join me then, that would be much appreciated, because that's where I will be. So all that's left for me to say is try to stay as sane and as safe as possible in this crazy world in which we live. Thank you guys for joining me, and I will catch you guys at the next one. Rock!